guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving the Skoda Kodiaq L&K, and straight away let's get into the engine bay. Only one engine option available, and there it is, the diesel motor of the Kodiaq. This should have been actually finished in sort of chrome, would have looked really nice. Insulation here as well, obviously compact engine bay because this is the MQB platform, and that is one of the reasons why this car is so efficiently made in terms of space. And up front you get this nice grille, front parking camera, nice bumper as well. You can see parking sensors are there, and obviously treatment on the lower half of the bumper. Now because this is the L&K, it gets a chrome treatment. It also gets full LED lights, and the lights are absolutely beautiful at night. Right now the DRL is turned on. It gets cornering function for the fog lights. It gets a headlamp washer as well. And as I move to the side, let me tell you that the Lauren and Clement badging here will tell you that this is the L&K variant of the Kodiaq. In terms of length, it's not much. It's actually shorter than the Superb and longer than the Octavia by not much, I think around 40 mm. And the wheels aren't that big. These are 18 inches, and of course this being a four-wheel drive has the same tires at the front as well as the rear. This happens to be a 235, 55, 18. Now four-wheel drive system works really well, but the tires offer average grip. These are MRF tires, by the way. So as I move, let me show you that the design is actually sort of a station wagon from the side and the rear as well. Now the lights are beautiful. The rear tail lights are absolutely sensational, look very nice, very sharp, very angular. 4x4 written over here. Rear parking sensors, obviously rear parking camera as well. In fact, let me get to the other side and show you another cool trick of the Kodiaq. Now because this is the L&K, it gets these roof rails which are finished in some other color sort of. And you know what, here below the mirror you get a camera because it gets a 360-degree parking camera, puddle lamp as well, which is functional at night. Overall design is nice actually. Like obviously I think the Yeti looks better because it's more quirky. However, this car's party trick happens to be its size. Now you can come here, you can wave your foot below, and of course the boot opens, but this doesn't work always, so it's kind of a task at times. And the boot is quite big, I think 630 liters with the last row folded, which happens to be of not much use right now, which I'll tell you in a bit. Obviously below here they've given space to store the parcel shelf below here, which is very nice because otherwise if you remove the parcel shelf you're wondering where do I keep this, but they have given a proper space for that. And obviously nice compartments here in the boot. There are plenty of lights here, two lights here actually. There's a hook here as well, and there's a hook here too, 12-volt charging socket. Close this. So yeah, this is actually quite practical. Now you know what is this? Yeah, this is the most funky thing about this car. Actually, this happens to be a blanket. Yes, you get a blanket with the Kodiaq so that you can sleep peacefully. That's a real nice touch. So you get two of these. So let me just put this back into place. And you know what, I want to put the seat up. You can do it like this. Let me put both the seats up. Before that, let me show you the space to keep stuff here. And yeah, now it's back into place. Obviously you can press this button to recline this back. So yeah, even with the last row seats up, there's decent amount of space in the boot, which is a nice touch. Meanwhile, the spare tire has been placed here below, which happens to be a space saver. Yeah, this is how you access it. Toolkit, and this is the space saver spare wheel, which happens to be an 18-incher, but really small in size. So it's a makeshift, obviously. Meanwhile, you can see the car does feel solidly put together. Let's quickly get into the rear seat of the vehicle. Now look at this. When I open the door, this thing comes out. This is to prevent, you know, the doors getting any sort of scratch when you are parked next to a car close by. And this is on all the doors. Yeah, that's right. On all the doors you've got this, which is actually very, very cool. Doors open large and wide. And yeah, over here you can see the door pockets are large enough. Meanwhile, ISOFIX child seat mounts. Press this and you can recline this. Oh sorry, the bear fell down. You can see the rear seat doesn't have much space. It is actually apt for a bear to sit here because for adults there's not much space on offer. For children too, you know, under thigh support is lacking because the seat is actually raised, which means your knees would be touching your chest any moment when you sit here in the rear bench, and that is a problem. But there are lights placed here on both the sides, seat belts, proper seat belts. Actually, two people can sit here for a short journey, but that's about it. And you get an armrest here as well. There's good amount of space over here. Meanwhile, this bear can sit here and I can sit here. Hi Annabelle, what's up? What are you doing here? Skoda's brand ambassador is here. Anyways, you can see slightly scooped out seat back. There's a magazine holder here, AC controls here, it gets a 3-zone climate control, air conditioning, you get a 12-volt charging socket, AC vents are placed here. No AC vents placed on the B pillar. There's a hook here, there's a handle here, there's a hook here, there's a light here, there's a light there, and a massive panoramic roof, but we'll come to that in a bit. Manually adjustable sun blinds here, which is again a nice touch. The window area is actually quite large. There's good amount of knee room and leg room. There's good amount of headroom on offer. Under thigh support is also good. The seats are very comfortable. The cabin is wide enough. 3 people can sit here comfortably. You can see I'm sitting here, Annabelle is sitting there, this bear is sitting here, so we are technically 3 people here. And the center armrest has 3 cup holders, which is also a nice touch. So in terms of rear seat comfort, it's good. In fact, you also get this sleep pack wherein there is a holder for your neck, so you know when the car is driven hard and fast, you don't move around. Right now I don't know why it's missing on our test car, but it is over here. You can just recline. So they have some nap pack and whatnot in this car, so people can be very comfortable in the rear as well. Let's quickly get in the front, and I have a lot to show you there because the real highlight of this car happens to be at the front. For starters, obviously it gets passive entry, and you know what, it also gets an umbrella holder here along with an umbrella. So this is the umbrella of the car. Let me open it right now, and yeah, this is the Skoda umbrella. Where's the Skoda badging here? Can't find it, but yeah, here is the Skoda badging. You also get an umbrella. I should have actually started the vlog like this. So this is also a very nice touch. This is to open the boot of the vehicle. A large door pockets at the front. This is the control for the outside rear view mirror. These are the controls for the power windows. And obviously the whole fit, finish and build quality of this car is really very supreme. Kodiaq written here, and it gets electric seats. Both the front seats are electric along with memory function. You can save up to 3 people's settings as well, which is again a nice touch. These are the controls for the headlights, and there is storage here as well. It's a small storage. You can see the pedals also are nicely put together. In fact, there's a dead pedal there, and you get this beautiful finishing on the pedals too. Again, quality levels are very good. This is to open the hood of the vehicle, and right now I think I need to shut the umbrella because it just makes no sense for me to roam around with an umbrella right now. So here we go. Need to put it back into this. I'm very bad with these things. I don't know why, but unless and until this umbrella is folded, it's not going to fit inside that holder. But that holder is a very smart touch. I mean, who actually does all this? Yeah, I know Rolls-Royce does it. Let me do one thing. Can you please fold this umbrella, pack it and put it in the front seat? Thank you so much. Yeah, that is the easiest way to fold an umbrella. Anyways, let me push this seat a little behind, and let's straight away get inside the car. So here is the vehicle. The dashboard feels really very nice. In fact, this being the L&K, I forgot to show you one thing at the rear. So here it is. There's that chrome treatment, the chrome line on the rear, along with this sort of fake exhaust, which is basically what's there on the L&K, because more chrome is what L&K actually does. So this is the bumper, kind of different treatment. These are not exhaust, similar to what you see on the C-Class. Very fake, not functional at all. This is the engine start stop button. Placement is such, it's kind of weird because you're used to pressing a button somewhere here to turn on the vehicle, but even if it's over here, it's fine. But over here on the steering like that, that's not cool. Umbrella is fact. Need to put it back, and again I have to get out of the car. I'm just going in and out all the time. Here we go. Umbrella holder is so freaking cool. Absolutely love it. Not very a costly thing to do, but still cool nonetheless. Now this is the glove box, and over here you get 2 SD slots. Meanwhile, there's a glove box on the top as well. Over here you get a manual of the vehicle. So this happens to be the manual of the Kodiaq, owner's manual. Yeah, it's massive, not really much. It's just 250 pages, which is very much doable reading in a year's time or so, which I will try and do so. Anyways, rubber treatment here so things don't slide inside. There's some wood treatment, which kind of looks fake, but obviously it is. Auto dimming inside rear view mirror. Over here you get a light, of course, along with the mirror. Same is the case here, mirror along with the light. And there are plenty of buttons here because these are the controls for the lights. Again, this car gets white lights, massive panoramic roof. Let's open that. Yeah, right now I've just opened the roof straight away, and as you can see, it brings in a lot of airy feeling inside the cabin, and that's about it. It actually opens big enough. It opens massively big. Even a gorilla like Neha can fit from this roof and come in and come out. So let's turn that off, and let's open the full sunlight by pressing this button, and there it goes. So airy. The cabin behind. What happened? I'm sitting behind. What's up? The cabin feels very airy with the sunblind folded, and it gets 9 airbags in this car. There's a handle to hold on to at the front, along with one for the driver as well, which is a nice touch. Usually they ignore the driver. Now the steering is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, but it's manually done so. Meanwhile, over here you get a rubber treatment, and obviously you can keep your phone here. You get a 12-volt charging socket here. You get a USB slot here, and over here this is a tray which lets you organize a lot of stuff. So you can actually remove this. So this is for a cup holder, mobile phone. You can actually keep the key here. So they have a proper slot for the key. There goes the key. And over here you get more storage as well. This is the front center armrest, and this gear lever is also nicely finished. It says DSG 4x4. Meanwhile, piano black finish here. This is for the traction control system. Meanwhile, this is the electric parking brake. This is the auto hold function, and this is to get into the modes of the vehicle. So there's eco, normal, sport, individual, and snow modes. And this 8-inch screen, which is frameless, is beautiful. It has plenty of information on offer. There's navigation database not available. I think the SD card slot is missing. This also gets apps. So there's mirror link, there's Android Auto, there's Apple CarPlay, and there's also one Bose app which lets you control this system from behind with your phone, which is again a nice touch. Radio, media, phone, voice, menu, car, app. So get into car. So many things here. It'll tell you a lot of data. You know, the best thing about this car, it gets virtual cockpit, which displays very slick. So you get into settings right now. You can obviously turn ESC from here as well. So many settings inside this car. But let me straight away get into the instrument cluster. Here we are into the instrument cluster, and I can decide how I want the instrument cluster to look. There's auto, classic, view 1, view 2, and view 3. So here you go. So it keeps changing the views. Now the thing is that it basically changes what is on the either side, and you can obviously change that parameter as well. So right now, if I get into view 3, I can decide if I want the route guidance, if I want the range to be seen, if I want info about destination, compass. Same thing I can do on either side, but I can change the cluster here as well by going into view. So this is another display. Then there's another display. Now this display is actually quite rad. It's very different, very nice, and this works brilliantly well too. So many nice crisp displays. This is the minimalist display, which doesn't show much on offer as well. Steering feels nice to hold. You get this chrome treatment here, and these are actually the controls for the multi-information display here. Multi-information display has a lot of info. You can browse through everything you want, and this is obviously for the assistance menu. Meanwhile, these are the controls for the audio system. This is for voice recognition. This is to increase the volume. This is to go ahead for a track. This is to go behind on a track. These are the controls for the wipers. The wipers work brilliantly well on this vehicle, and of course, the headlight washer is also throwing water on the headlights to clean it right now. These are the controls for the cruise control as well as the indicators of this vehicle. Now it does get paddle shifters, but they are made of plastic and they're kind of small. They don't feel that nice though. The horn is nice though, really very nice, and you get this chrome Skoda logo which shines in sunlight like right now it is doing so. Now obviously let me get into car. There's so many features over here. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. Get into menu, and you can see it is a slick system. It works brilliantly well. You can see images as well. And let me get into vehicle right now. Straight away let me get into lights, because it gets ambient lights and there are 10 colors on offer, so you can choose whichever is your favorite color. You also get eco score, or rather the green score, which will tell you what your score is. I got a score of 68, which means I've just passed. 10.2 kilometers per liter is the mileage right now. So this display has so many things on offer. In fact, you can sit here whole day thinking where you want to go right now as well. So you know, so many parameters which can be altered here, which is a very nice thing. But to lock the vehicle, you have to press this button. This is for the passenger airbag. It will tell you exactly if it's on or off. This is the hazard light switch. This is for auto park. This is for the parking sensors. Coming to the parking sensors, let me show you that it's got front and rear parking sensors, 360-degree camera. This 360-degree camera is absolutely rad. So this is the reverse parking camera. It gets adaptive guidelines as well. And you know what is the best thing about this car? Well, it will show you exactly markers over here, so you can park very easily without any issue here. You can see there's so many views here, but you know what is exactly the best thing here? The 3D view. So right now this is the 3D view. I can change that view to see the Kodiaq in different scenarios, and when I actually get my finger close to the screen, it actually displays more stuff here, so you can see it in a lot of views, which is a very nice thing. Makes parking such a breeze and such an occasion as well. In fact, it also has something known as travel mode. So basically I can decide if I have left hand or right hand traffic, and when I do it, okay, here we go, select right hand traffic, it says headlight adjustment for driving on the right active, which is again so freaking cool. In fact, the audio system, which happens to be a Canton sound system, it is a 10 speaker unit along with a subwoofer in the boot, works brilliantly well. Let's quickly connect our phone right away. So I'm just going to connect it with Apple CarPlay. There Apple CarPlay gets activated. Connection will be established by Apple CarPlay, and there it goes. Apple CarPlay gets active in no time at all. This is Skoda app here as well. Let's get into now playing. Let's play the song. Audio quality is brilliant. It is absolutely smashingly awesome. I love the quality of audio on this car. In fact, at night it feels so good, the cabin, because it gets 10 ambient lighting as well. Meanwhile, there's a ticket holder here, and let's do the self park, which means pressing this button, but it will not get activated because traction control is right now deactivated, which means I have to turn on traction control. Pressing the park button, now it is searching for a place to park, which means I give an indicator. It knows it has to park on the right. We start moving right away. So basically it has found parking right now, and it says that it's going to park in the rear left, which means we get into reverse, and steering has been taken over by the car. Here we get into reverse, and there it is going to start steering. Come on, there it is, steering the car. Yeah, it has parked itself, and steering intervention, because parking has been done. You know what the best thing, when you actually turn off the vehicle, it shows you something very cool. Look at this. Okay, the Kodiaq comes there spinning all the way. It will show you all the driving data for your this particular journey, and there it shows 30 kilometers per hour average speed, 10 kilometers per liter fuel consumption. That is so freaking cool. And it also show you which door is open. So certainly Skoda has done a lot of smart features. In fact, this screen has so many features. It says remember your mobile phone. I mean, that is how smart it is. These are obviously the controls for the air conditioning. Yeah, all the controls are for the air conditioning. This is obviously for the audio system, and these buttons are here which just make it so much easier when you turn on the vehicle. Here it goes, and there you can see it says headlight adjustment for driving on the right active, which I've already showed you earlier. Now this instrument cluster on the right most, it's got the fuel meter. On the left most, it has got the temperature meter. Below here, it's telling me the handbrake warning, and it also tells me exactly which seat belt has belted up or not at the rear, along with the fact that it gets a warning for the front seats. And when I actually change the mode here, it changes the color of the instrument cluster. So this is in eco, it's showing green. When I get into normal, it changes to sort of white. When I get into sport, it changes to red. When I get into individual, it changes to green again. When I change to snow, it changes to blue. Fab attention to detail. I love it. Let's get driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning, getting into drive, putting it into sport. Already I have put the sport mode in the car. Traction control is already off. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, revs to 2,500 RPM, and off we go. The thrust is so good, in fact, that my bear just flew off. There he is. Anyways, now he's fine. So this is the Skoda Kodiaq L&K, but there's no difference in terms of engine between the L&K and of course the style variant, because it's the same engine on offer, which happens to be the 2-liter diesel motor that produces 150 horsepower and 340 Newton meters of torque, which comes in at a low 1750 RPM. In fact, performance is really good in the mid-range. It pulls very strongly in the mid-range, and the motor is very refined as well. It's only when you get into the top end that you can hear a lot of the motor, but more than that, it just doesn't have any punch post 4000 RPM. It's like useless to go above 4000 RPM, although it will redline at 4500 RPM. So overall performance, I would say, is decent and more than adequate. There is lag lower down, but once you get past, I think 1750 RPM is when the turbo kicks in, then it pulls strongly and nicely. The motor is actually quite vocal in the mid-range and obviously after 4000 RPM as well, but you don't make progress after 4000 RPM. That is one challenge. But out on the highway, you would need more punch because this car is heavy at 1800 kgs, and you would be like, okay, I'm paying so much money, I should have got more power. Yeah, Skoda should have offered at least 180 horsepower from the Superb. They have fallen short by around 30 horsepower on the Kodiaq, which I simply don't understand, considering this is the most expensive Skoda car on sale in India, and yet it misses out on power output. 150 horsepower doesn't make really much sense at all. Like I've already told you, multiple drive modes right now in sport. Now what does this alter? It alters the engine map, it alters the steering wheel as well, and alters, I think, the air conditioning, but it doesn't alter the suspension because it doesn't get adaptive suspension, something which Skoda offers in all other markets. It has skipped it for the Indian market, unfortunately. That's why the change in driving modes is not as dramatic, because adaptive suspension is missing. The suspension setup is on the stiffer side because Skoda has made this car in order to prevent any sort of body roll, and body roll is very well contained as such, but unfortunately the ride is on the stiffer side. So at low speeds you can feel a bit of the stiffness. Meanwhile at higher speeds as well, it is better. The ride improves as the speeds build up, but it's not as compliant as you would expect because there's some sort of movement at higher speeds. And although when you compare it to its rivals like the Fortuner and the Endeavour, you realize the ride quality is way better, and the ride and handling balance is also much better because this is a monocoque chassis. This is underpinned by an MQB platform, and being an MQB platform car with a monocoque chassis, of course it feels way more agile than any Endeavour or Fortuner with a body on frame platform can ever feel. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor 2,500 RPM, and off we go. The motor does rev very fast. In fact, the motor revs so fast that in no time at all, you're like, you already hit the red line. And you know, actually more than the motor revving fast, it's really the fact that this 7-speed dual clutch gearbox is super duper fast with shifts. In fact, it is one of the best automatic gearboxes I have ever witnessed because the shifts are so fast, so seamless. You want a downshift, it will give you now. Obviously in sport mode of the gearbox, it helps matters. And if you want to really take control of things, you can use the steering mounted paddles and get the gear you want. And it just loves to rev. In fact, right now in manual mode, it will rev till 5000 RPM. Unfortunately though, there's no top end as such, and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes a decade. In fact, it doesn't really take a decade, but it takes almost 10.5 seconds, which is a lot of time for a car of this price and size, and of course this segment as well. But ride quality, like I told you, could have been slightly better, but since the car is stiff, overall handling balance is great. Body roll is very well contained. In fact, changing directions, no problem at all. It actually does a great job. Body movement is also very nicely done. The steering is supremely quick. It's light at low speed. This car is easy to pilot in the city, but at higher speeds the steering could do with more feel and feedback. Yeah, it is very quick, but it's not really feelsome in that regard. The brakes offer sure-footed stopping power. In fact, the brakes are really very nice on this car. You can see it's actually a bit too sharp because the car stops in no time at all. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, and off we go. I love the way the tachometer pulls. It is so fast. It is like really very fast. The tacho just keeps climbing, and that is really reassuring on the Kodiaq. But yes, it deserves more power for sure. The car remains glued to the road at high speeds, and I believe the top speed is around 180 kilometers per hour. Overall, in terms of powertrain package, gearbox is great, handling is good, but yes, steering could have offered more feel, and of course the ride could have been better. But when you compare to the body on frame cars, obviously there's no lumpiness at low speeds, which is a big boon, and because of the stiffness, it's actually a fun to drive car. I would never expect a Skoda Kodiaq, which is such a heavy car, 1800 kgs, to be so agile as such. Meanwhile, it has a 63-liter fuel tank, and the fuel economy is between 10 to 12 kilometers per liter depending on your driving style. Now there are two variants on offer. There's the Style and there is the L&K. The price for the Style is 43 lakhs on road Mumbai. Meanwhile, the on road Mumbai price for this variant happens to be 44.7 lakhs. For the 1.7 lakhs extra you pay for the L&K variant, you obviously get a lot more goodies, which kind of makes it worth the price when you compare to the Style variant. But when you compare to the competition, yes, the Kodiaq comes to be an expensive bet, especially when the rivals are offering way more power. I don't understand how Skoda went ahead and launched the L&K variant and decided, okay, let's do one thing, let's not give it more power, because you know the Superb deserves to have more power. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because this is awfully close to that car in terms of pricing, and of course that's a Mercedes-Benz, and a Mercedes-Benz is a Mercedes-Benz, whatever you say. That badge obviously has a lot of pull in the Indian market, and let me be honest, there's good amount of power and torque for the city, but out on the highway, want to make a quick overtake, you do feel the lack of punch, unfortunately. But the car doesn't feel its 1800 kgs weight. It simply doesn't feel that it weighs so much. It definitely feels lighter thanks to the MQB platform, which gives it so much agility. Noise, vibration and harshness is also very well contained. You can't hear much of the tire or wind noise from outside. Skoda has done brilliant engineering on this car for sure. There is no denying that fact. And off we go. So the Kodiaq is actually named after Arctic's biggest bear, the grizzly bear. No, this is not the one, but yes, that is how the Kodiaq has been named. And trust me, as a car, it's brilliant, but it needs more power. There is no denying that fact, because it wears the L&K badge, and the founders would be wondering that, okay, it wears a name tag, but why haven't they given it the Superb's powertrain? It doesn't make sense, alright? Obviously, there are more variants of the Kodiaq available globally with more power, adaptive dampers, and all these things should be present in India, considering this is the most pricey car in its segment. But if you want an SUV which offers an easy to drive feel with plenty of features, there's no looking beyond the Kodiaq, because as an SUV it is phenomenal. Yeah, if you can live with the fact that the Skoda Superb right next to you is lighter and having more power, and next to you means next to you here, your Superb doesn't have that much power. This car has 10 more horsepower.
My Superb is superb.
Yeah, right.
Comparison with that.
But of course, it's the smart engineering tricks, and of course the small and significant attention to detail which really wows you over with the Kodiaq, because every time you get in the car you experience and discover something new, which is like, oh wow, why did they think about that? Come on Skoda, increase the power output, give us adaptive dampers at the same price, and everyone would be really happy. So guys, this is my vlog about the Skoda Kodiaq L&K, Lauren and Clement, named after the founding partners of the company. And if you like this vlog, you know what you have to do, give it the thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.